Tonight, an investigation is underway into a deadly plane crash in the Blow-Me-Down Mountains. That story and a fatal wildlife attack. A Labrador man loses his life after an encounter with two polar bears at a worksite in Nunavut.
It is frustrating. To me, our society has gotten more selfish. It should never happen.
Police in this province say they're seeing a lot of impaired drivers. Tonight, victims' loved ones say it needs to stop.
The cost of school supplies is just daunting.
Yes, that's right. Back to school season is here, and it isn't cheap. Why one group says more and more families are struggling to pay for supplies.
This is CBC Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Peter Cowan. The Transportation Safety Board is investigating after a 24-year-old woman died and 3 other people were injured in a plane crash on the southern shore of the Bay of Islands on Friday. The plane crashed in the Blow-Me-Down Mountains. The Transportation Safety Board says the small aircraft was operated by a Quebec company called SAS Air. It was carrying 3 employees from the Department of Fisheries and Oceans. They're from Quebec, and they were working on a survey mission in the area. Crews from the Joint Rescue Coordination Centre in Halifax responded, along with the help of Newfoundland and Labrador Health Services and the RNC.
They arrived with the assistance of a helicopter from Canadian Helicopters, a private helicopter company. 3 persons were then removed from the crash site and transported to Deer Lake, where the cormorant met with an ambulance, and the individuals were transported to hospital for further medical care. 1 person was reported vital signs absent at the crash site and was transported to Deer Lake separately. The aircraft were contracted from Quebec by Department of Fisheries and Oceans.
A man from Happy Valley Goose Bay was killed Thursday after being attacked by 2 polar bears at a worksite in Nunavut. The man was working in the Davis Strait off the east coast of Baffin Island when he was attacked. You're looking at video that was taken at the same site just last month. The company confirmed the death in a statement Friday evening, saying employees responded to the scene and killed one of the bears. The man worked with a logistics company managing Northern Warning Systems, which is owned by Nausitut Corporation. That's an Inuit-owned firm that provides services in the north. Nausitut says it is working closely with local authorities to carry out an investigation and is offering support to the victim's family as well as its employees. A 79-year-old cyclist was killed yesterday following a collision near Kona Beach in Central. The accident shut down traffic along the Trans-Canada Highway for hours. RCMP in Springdale say the man was driving a pedal bike when he was struck by an SUV shortly before 7 p.m. The 26-year-old male driver was uninjured. Well, a second person has died as the result of last week's crash along the TCH near Bellevue. As we reported on Friday, a 40-year-old woman died at the scene and a man was taken to hospital with serious injuries. This after their SUV went off the road and rolled on Thursday. Police say the pair were not wearing seatbelts and were both ejected from the vehicle. The 39-year-old man later died in hospital. Well, a popular restaurant in Petty Harbour has been forced to shut its doors for the season after a fire. It happened at Chafe's Landing restaurant early on Saturday. A Facebook post says the business says it's incredibly grateful that no one was hurt. Today, you could see caution tape blocking the parking lot. The building may not look that bad, but the business says it sustained significant damage inside. The cause of that fire is still under investigation. And speaking of fire, police believe that a weekend fire in Happy Valley Goose Bay is arson. Early Saturday morning, the sandbar burned. Emergency crews responded just before 5 a.m., but the fire completely destroyed the building. The RCMP say they have evidence indicating someone deliberately set the fire. They say 2 people ran away from the property, and there may have been a 3rd that was in the area when the fire started. The RNC says it's getting calls day and night from people reporting impaired drivers. For years, it averaged 1 driver a day charged with impaired driving, but that number is growing. As Here Now's Arlette Lazarenko reports, the families of those killed say it's a senseless and selfish crime.
RCMP are charging someone with impaired driving nearly every day in this province, a sobering statistic. But behind those numbers are real consequences. People killed by drunk drivers and their families left behind to deal with the heartache.
It's disgusting. It is frustrating. To me, our society has gotten more selfish. It should never happen.
This is the resting place of Patricia's stepson, Nicholas. 10 years ago, he was killed by an impaired driver. Today, his family's heartache is as heavy as it was the day he died.
The day we put Nicholas in his final resting place here, I stood before his casket and before him, and I made a promise to him that I would never, ever rest until we could stop impaired driving. We want parents to talk to your children. You need to speak to your spouse. You need to educate them on the dangers of impaired driving. And if they're not listening, call me. I'll come and sit down and I'll tell you all about Nicholas.
Dangerous driving can have the same deadly consequences as impaired driving, and Gail Thorne is just as strong in her advocacy. She lost her daughter, Hannah, right here because of two men racing on the highway.
We've been dealing with this for many years, but it's people still knowing what the result could be. They still take that risk. And quite often it's the innocent victims that are pay the price.
Both want government to do more to stop people who choose to drive dangerously or when they're impaired.
We need to put things in place to stop it before it happens. It's all about preventing it. Once it happens, it's too late. Nothing we do from the day we put Nicholas into his resting place to today has ever changed our outcome or our lives.
I have no pity, like I said, for these people. The harshest penalty that they can be given them. Take their license away. For good. Everybody knows that's it. Done. No second chances. My daughter didn't get a second chance. The two gentlemen that were involved in her crash, they did. They've gotten a second chance. They've gone on to live their lives, have their own family and things like that. My daughter didn't get a second chance.
Until those numbers are down to zero, both mothers will keep talking about their loss, hoping to change at least one more mind and convince them to drive safely. Arlette Lazarenko, CBC News, St. John's.
Staff at the Telegram still have a lot of questions about their future. The province could soon lose its only daily newspaper. A Nova Scotia Supreme Court has approved Post Media's $1 million bid to buy the major newspaper chains in Atlantic Canada, like Saltwire Network, which owns the Telegram. Post Media has not purchased this province's only large printing press, however, which prints the Telegram and other local community newspapers like the Shoreline. That means the future of the paper itself is still up in the air. Union President Keith Goss spoke with CBC host Chrissy Holmes just a few minutes ago.
Absolutely nothing. We haven't been told what their plan is, what they want to do, if there's going to be a continuing print edition, and if there is, how it would be printed. Because if our print unit is gone, there's nowhere else in the province where it can be printed.
A group representing some of the province's early childhood educators is pushing the province for better benefits. Tops on that list is a pension plan. The Newfoundland and Labrador chapter of Childcare Now's petition comes as parents are desperate to find spots for their kids, and the province is trying its best to hire more educators. And Childcare Now says the government needs to make the job more attractive.
We're trying to just get people to understand that early childhood educators are really the foundation of education. And without us, the education system goes nowhere, really. This is where children start. This is where stimulation starts. This is where learning starts. And we don't think that the government pays enough attention to us and the needs we have. We don't think that people recognize the importance of the work that we do, and we need to get that out there. The level of compensation that we have is still not up to par, and specifically benefits. The government proposed a medical benefits plan. That's being worked on, but there's no pension. And traditionally, people that work in childcare, well, right now, there are a lot of people that are working in childcare that are older. They have been in the system for 20 years, excess of 20 years, and they don't have a pension plan. And there was a survey conducted by Jimmy Pat Foundation and the Newfoundland and Labrador Federation of Labor last year, and it told us that 83% of early childhood educators currently don't have a pension plan. And further, 90% of them have no idea how they're going to retire. And that is very concerning for us. You work for 8 hours in a childcare center. It is very taxing on you mentally, physically. And then you have to leave and you have to go to work again to secure these benefits. In my opinion, the government is concentrating on the family and getting the parents out to work and getting the mothers back to work, and they're not thinking about the people that are allowing this to happen, that are facilitating this. And if we're not compensated well enough, if we are not well enough to work, if we don't have something to look forward to, there will be all of this is in vain.
Well, the back-to-school season can be an expensive time for families. A group committed to easing the effects of poverty on the Avalon is hoping to ease the burden with a helping hand from the community. Here now's Maddie Ryan reports.
Pencils, exercise books, a school bag, the back-to-school list can be long. And for families, the cost is adding up. Here at Bridges to Hope, it's a burden that's getting heavier each year.
For a lot of families, the cost of school supplies is just daunting. We have a lot of families who access this program every year who actually don't normally use our food bank because for the most part they're able to, afford to put food on the table, but nothing extra.
That's where the Back to School program comes in. Families in need can fill out an application to get a book bag like this one, fully packed with all the school supplies needed for a full year. But Burgess says the demand has doubled.
So in previous years, the program has had a capacity of 350 students. But what we've seen the last 2 or 3 years is the demand has just skyrocketed. So registration would open at 9 o'clock in the morning and all 350 spaces would be full before 11 a.m. So keeping that in mind for this year, we are aiming to actually double the number of students we support. We're hoping to cover a total of 700 students.
It's also easing a burden on teachers, she says, who often pick up the slack and pay out of pocket. But Burgess says being this busy means parents are struggling.
As I said, our demand is significantly up, and we hear that from our friends at other organizations across the city and across the province in every sector of community support. There are more people in need, and they are in need more often as well.
And it's not too late to take part. Anyone in need of a book bag can still call Bridges to Hope to sign up. And the organization says it's not just school supplies. Families also struggle with the cost of healthy snacks. So there's a program for that too. Maddie Ryan, CBC News, St. John's.
The 2024 Paris Summer Olympic Games have wrapped up, and that means the Paralympics are coming up soon. It's a familiar routine for Newfoundland and Labrador's 2-time Paralympic medalist, Katarina Roxon. The event in Paris will mark her 5th time competing in the Paralympics, giving her the record for most Paralympic game appearances by a Canadian female athlete.
Roxon wants it desperately.
I am a 5-time Paralympian and 2-time Paralympic medalist. It's always super exciting to represent your family, your town, your province, your country on whatever stage it is. It doesn't necessarily have to be the Paralympic Games. It can be a World Championships, a Pan American Games. It's always super exciting and super humbling to be named to a team, to be on that team, to partake in this huge event. So honestly, I'm looking forward to it. It's my 5th Games. I've been there, I've done it so many times. So, and every experience is different. It's always a learning lesson. You learn something good, you learn something bad. Moving forward, you fix a couple things here and there. So, I mean, it's my 5th games, and I'm having fun. I'm a veteran, big veteran here. So I'm just looking to have fun and, hopefully hit my goals and my targets and, and just enjoy the whole process.
Are you still nervous though?
You know what? I think that feeling won't ever go. I think, you get the confidence throughout the years, but you always have that little bit of nerves that kick in. So honestly, just like talking to my family, talking to my pastor, all that stuff, it's really good. It really helps ground me and keep me focused on what I need to do, where to keep my focus actually, and not to kind of waver. And so honestly, it's in times that I feel nervous, I just kind of have to reel myself back in and just think about the process. Mentally, I feel so good. I feel confident, and I know that whatever happens at the games, I know I can look back and I regret nothing. I've done everything I could possibly do, and whatever happens, happens. To be able to be home, I was in Quebec City, I was training there, and I'm super grateful that I'm able to be home just for this last weekend before I head off, just to see my family and spend time with them. Not being able to see them for so long makes me really happy that I was able to just come and see them. And I'm also super grateful for all the support. I always say that it goes a long way. It goes such a long way, whether it's just a little message, whether it's just you're in your house and just cheering. I can't even hear you, but you can feel it. I've had so much support over the last 20 years, and it's been absolutely incredible. And I'm very, very thankful and very blessed that people want to support me and want me to do well, and that are cheering me on, especially coming from home, from Newfoundland and Labrador. So I'm very grateful for that.
Well, the 2024 Paralympic Games kick off on August 28th, and just like the Olympics, you can catch full coverage on CBC Television and CBC Gem.
Okay, let's go.
While Team Labrador City's social media game is strong, athletes from across the province are in Bay Roberts this week for the 2024 Summer Games. The opening ceremonies kicked off on Saturday. From swimming to softball, golf to soccer, good luck to all the athletes.
Certainly had some decent weather for parts of the weekend anyway. We've got another cold front that's sparking some lightning for parts of the province. That's going to continue to sweep through. We'll talk all about it coming up.
Ashley, I went out and got some of the first blueberries of the season on Saturday, and I was able to dodge the rain showers that we had here on the East Coast. And people might be tempted to complain about the showers, but at the same time, I feel like we need it because it's been pretty dry for most of, July into August, really.
It certainly has. Yeah, we certainly needed that rain. Lots of brown grass out there as well, certainly helping this weekend for sure. And we've got some more on the way as we head through the next couple of days. Today, humid, feels humid out there. Our temperature is pretty warm through central, 27, 29 degrees this afternoon. In St. John's, we topped off at about 24. And areas along the south coast anywhere from 19 to about 23 degrees. Up across Labrador, very chilly though as you head towards the coast. Only about 9 degrees today in both Makkovik and Nain. Otherwise, we still have some warm temperatures, relatively speaking, at about 22 this afternoon for Labrador. Now, we do have a cold front that's sweeping through, hence that colder air to the north. It is sparking some lightning for the southern portions of the strait at the moment. Or rather southern portions of Labrador along the strait at the moment. And there are a few lightning strikes being recorded there as well, just offshore. That cell has moved offshore, but there is the risk that we may see or hear a few rumbles of thunder again for the northern peninsula and along the strait as we head through the next couple of hours. As far as that humidity goes, though, we certainly are feeling that. It is 23 degrees right now in St. John's, feels more like 28, and it feels more like 30 in Terra Nova. Badger feels more like 28. So most of the highest humidity anyway is for the east. And as we head through the next couple of days, it's going to feel a bit muggy tomorrow, but we'll see a big drop on Wednesday, along with a drop in temperatures as well. It'll stay comfortable through Thursday, and then we'll slowly get back to feeling a bit more muggy as we head towards Friday and even into Saturday. Now, as far as what's going to happen tonight, that cold front will continue to sink south. Like I said, northern peninsula, you may hear a few rumbles of thunder. Other than that, it's actually looking like a pretty decent evening tonight. We may see some cloud cover, though, move in by the time we get into tomorrow morning across the island. But for the most part, things will be quiet. Our overnight lows anywhere from 15 to 16 degrees for most, except as that cold front sinks south. Northern peninsula, your temperature is really going to drop tonight. 6 to 7 degrees, only about 3 degrees in Nain and about 12 for Lab City. And again, you may see those showers in the mix with southwesterlies. Generally, the strongest winds will be in the east, where you will see those winds gusting around 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. So the weather looks pretty decent. There has been some pretty active aurora borealis last night, and then again tonight. There's the potential we could see that, especially best chance really up across Labrador. But it's a pretty strong storm, so we may see them fairly low on the horizon as well across the island. But to see them, you are going to have to be away from the city lights. And again, make sure you see them. If you do see them, you'll see them low on the horizon. So here's a shot from last night. I thought this was a great one just from Lab West there. Forgot the T, but Lab West is there. Keith shared this lovely shot with us. And if you capture any weather photos, or any photos tonight rather, you can send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca. So as far as tomorrow goes, it should start pretty decent. We are going to see clouds on the increase though. Few scattered showers certainly possible into the afternoon as well. For areas along the south coast, that's really when we'll start to see things ramp up. As we get into the afternoon, some of this could be some thunderstorms, and we could see some fairly heavy rain associated with this as well. And then as we head towards the evening and overnight, we will see those showers spread further east across eastern portions of Newfoundland, really, as we head through the overnight and into the morning. So there's the best chance, the risk of thunderstorms for tomorrow. But temperature-wise, or rather rainfall-wise, we could be talking about 40 to 50 millimeters in some of that heaviest rain, which again, we definitely need it. As far as temperatures go for tomorrow, winds are going to shift more northeasterly. That means cooler temperatures, only topping out maybe 12, 13 degrees for those of you in onshore flow. You get away from it, though, those temperatures should climb into the 20s. And then for Labrador, you're looking at temperatures towards the teens, again, towards the coast. 18 degrees in Happy Valley, Goose Bay, and as you head towards Lab West, your temperatures will be in the 20s. But again, some morning showers certainly possible for you. We get into long-range forecasts a little later in the show.
Thanks, Ashley. You might know the Newfoundland Embassy is a fixture in downtown St. John's. Well, now it has a second location that sort of floats around. It's a new portable inflatable pub, and you can have it set up just about anywhere. Take a look.
We are on the front lawn of CBC with Newfoundland Embassy's inflatable pub.
It's not a bouncy castle, though.
No, it's not a bouncy castle. We've had a few disappointed children. No, it's a bouncy castle for adults, pretty much. It's a bit of shock value when you come into it. People, when we say inflatable pub, they almost think that it's just an inflatable bar, but no, it's a full structure. We were always trying to figure out how to branch out in a business. The Newfoundland Embassy downtown is great, but we want a different revenue stream, and we came across this idea, and we just fell in love with it right away. Now we can bring the friendliest little pub in North Atlantic to wherever you want to be.
Isn't that cute? You're looking at a live shot of the Parkway here outside the station in St. John's, and a little bit of nice blue sky there, a little bit of sunshine. Not a bad evening at all. Stay with us. The long-range forecast is coming up later on Here and Now. Welcome back to Here and Now. The future of the Telegram newspaper is in doubt. Post Media is buying it, along with other papers in the Saltwire network, but it's not buying the local printing press. So that could mean the end of a print edition of the paper. Keith Goss is a photojournalist and president of the local union.
The only thing that I can tell you for sure is that Post Media is buying the editorial staff department at the Telegram and the Telegram itself, but nothing else. So that means our printing unit is not being purchased. Our clerical staff, ABC staff, are supposedly not going along with the deal. They're just getting the reporters, photographers, editors, and I assume the actual Telegram publication itself.
Well, what are you hearing from Post Media?
Absolutely nothing. We haven't been told what their plan is, what they want to do, if there's going to be a continuing print edition, and if there is, how it would be printed. Because if our print unit is gone, there's nowhere else in the province where it can be printed.
You've been through a few takeovers.
This is probably going to be my fifth now in about 38 years, and. In the previous ones, there was more certainty as to what was going to happen afterwards. It was essentially a change of owners, and there were a few tweaks and changes, but, we had a fair idea that, there was going to be kind of status quo. But with this one here, there's just an incredible amount of uncertainty and nervousness about, what the future holds.
I mean, at this point, I guess, without the printing press, without the physical newspaper, I mean, where is everybody leaning? I mean, are we talking online?
Well, I mean, that would be the only place that they could go would be online, and we don't know if it's going to be a separate publication, as in a Telegram website, or if it would be a consolidated website. Once again, it's radio silence from them. I've spoken to some managers and other people in the building, and no one is being told anything.
How's everybody coping with this? How's everybody reacting?
Well, it's difficult. I mean, it's incredibly stressful for people who have, our print unit guys. I mean, they don't know if they're going to have a job in 2 weeks. Office staff. I mean, it's all just a huge question mark. I don't even know if I'm going to be working. Post Media could come in and lay off a bunch of people in the newsroom. And, that's kind of what we're hearing, is that there will be layoffs in the newsroom, even though they are, taking over our editorial department. So there's a lot of stress because, a lot of people have been there for, quite a long time and enjoy their work. And, we're all just wondering what the heck is going to happen.
It feels like it wasn't even that long ago we talked after a round of layoffs.
Yeah.
So, how many people are left there now?
Well, we've got 37 people in total in our local. There's 13 in our editorial unit and another 17 or 18 in the print unit, and probably around 8 or 10 in the other two units. So we're talking about 37 staff altogether. We don't know what's going to happen to the other three units, and we're a skeleton crew in the editorial department now as it is. And, we know and we've been told that we put out a really good product with the people that we do have. But, we are worked pretty hard, when it comes to trying to get out that product. But I can tell you the people in the editorial department are dedicated and incredibly passionate about their jobs, and we do the best we can, as is everyone else in the building. We all love the work that we do. It's just it's a horrible thought to think that your career or your job might be at an end in a week or two. And I feel, I've said this before, I feel horrible for the new people who are coming into our newsroom, who just started jobs and are being told essentially that they might not be needed again already.
How concerned are you about the state of local journalism? With the loss of the Telegram, a huge part of our own understanding of culture, society, politics in this province. How many years now?
Well, it's 130 something odd years, I believe, 140 years. The Telegram's been part of, Newfoundland culture ever since it started publishing. We had the Daily News, that one closed down decades ago. So our only daily newspaper is the Telegram. And if we lose that one, this would be the only province in Canada without a daily newspaper. And, that's a huge hit to our journalism community. I'll go back to the old, if a tree falls in the forest analogy. If someone has a story to tell but there's no one there to write it, is it really a story anymore? Because there's no reporters, no journalists, there's no, no paper to put it in. And, at some point, if we lose, another journalism outfit, let's say we lose one of the radio stations, and then, a TV station, then what happens if we lose you guys? Who are the people who actually look into those dark corners of injustice and, make sure that, politicians are acting properly, or who tell the good news stories, about people overcoming, illness or coming through a car crash and surviving, or, all of that stuff. It's all stuff that we know that the public wants to know about. But, the less people that are out there to tell the stories, the less people, or less the general public knows about what's going on in their communities.
And speaking of positive stories, in a landscape of black and grey, a Labrador West man spotted a beautiful blue ray of hope. Quinton Andrews was looking at the damage done by raging wildfires near his home when he spotted something unexpected.
You travel this area a lot, and I guess, of all the trees and stuff, what made you sort of stop and come across?
I have no idea why I stopped where I did, but I happened to look to the left, and there was the bird flying out of the tree. And here we are.
And like you said, it's, there's not many wildlife now in the area. We know things will come back, but not right now.
No, I wouldn't expect it this fast. No.
And I mean, it's a good tree. Like, had the hole built in already to put the nest.
The nest was like it's made for it.
Yeah, made for it. And with with your time here, I guess will you be doing anything to help get your home ready for possibly like other fires or things to do, or tips you might have for others?
Climate change is coming. Everybody get ready for it, because it's happening.
And with I guess when you stand around this and you've driven through this a few times, I guess what are your thoughts or feelings when you see all the damage?
Well, to see what happened in Jasper, we are very lucky to be where we are.
There have been plenty of hot days at the St. John's Pedestrian Mall this summer, but last Friday was extra hot and spicy. A Latin music fiesta played out on Water Street, hosted by the De La Paz Quintet. Reporter Julia Israel got the story, and she got her groove on.
It is important for Latin Americans mainly, but I feel that it's also important for Newfoundland to get influenced by this, right? We don't really want to be Canadian Latinos, you know what I'm saying?
Every year, Water Street transforms into the pedestrian mall, but today we've got the De La Paz Latin Band bringing us right to the heart of the Latin American community in St. John's. Let's go dance!
My name is Luis Alberto de la Paz Cruz, but here in Canada I go by Beto de la Paz.
So tell me about the De La Paz Quintet. Like, when did this start?
We started 1 year ago. It was an amazing experience. I wanted to do something new, right? Before this, we were doing other style of music, like very classical Latino stuff. But I was like, man, I just finished my master's degree. I want to put a spice into this thing. So we started this, which is a little bit more into jazz. When I first came here, I had a very different mentality. I was like, Mexico, and I'm going to show how Mexico is. And my brother came to me and told me, like, you're not in Mexico anymore. If you want to show how Mexico is, go back, come back. And I was like, you're right. He told me, if you want to do something, you have to do something Canadian, to do something really new.
But tell me how you got involved in this. You're from St. John's, you're a salsa teacher. How did you?
My actual story is that I was in the military. So I used to teach drill class, left, right, left, right. The girls never run.
Oh, really?
Right? So whatever you're doing, I will always match you.
Oh, you shouldn't tell me that.
Right? So what? You have a drink?
Yeah.
And a smoke? So you go drink, smoke. How's that?
That's good, that's good.
So watch, I'm going to give you down and up. Now rotate. And then back.
But tell me how important it is to the Latin American community here to have bands like you and like to make an event like this today and have everybody come out.
We know that Latin American society relies on dancing. Every party I was, my family organized parties once a month. And every single party, there was a Latin band. I come here to Newfoundland and we only have Yerrito. Yerrito's, it's amazing, but he's a one-man show. So I was like, dude, this place needs a Latin band.
The threat of escalation between Israel and Hezbollah prompted a plea today from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. He's urging Canadians in Lebanon to leave now and not wait for evacuation flights.
The situation is so difficult that we may not be able to get all Canadians out. That's why while the airports are still open, while there is an opportunity, we're encouraging and asking all Canadians to please leave Lebanon while there are commercial routes available.
Back here at home, St. John, New Brunswick is in the early stages of designing spaces for its homeless population. The city's developing a color code to determine what structures will be permitted and where. The CBC's Nipin Tiwari reports saying one councillor says it's still not perfect.
It's the first time we've released a strategy on addressing homelessness for the city of St. John, and it's not something that many municipalities have done.
The city calls it the Housing for All strategy, a roadmap broken into 28 actions meant to achieve 4 priorities over the next 3 years: coordination and governance, emergency supports, prevention, education and safety, and housing support. One of the early priorities of the plan is establishing green, yellow, and red zones, which the city plans to start implementing this year.
So one of the actions that we're looking at is what are areas of the city where it would not be appropriate for people to set up encampments. That would be considered what we call a red zone. And then we're looking also at defining areas of the city that would be what we call yellow zones. These would be areas of the city where we wouldn't normally allow encampments to set up, but we might permit them during certain times a year. And then green zones, these would be designated areas with clearly defined limits and specifications on what services might be provided on various sites.
Dobbelstein says green zones will potentially come with supports, such as frontline workers, on-site washrooms, garbage pickup, and other services.
We would define the size of the green zone, the clustering, like how many tents we might permit, as well as what type of structures. Obviously, tents are not ideal. We want more defined structures, such as bunkhouses or other things where people can actually potentially have electricity and warmth without resorting to the use of fires and things of that nature.
St. John Councillor David Hickey supports the strategy, but says it's not perfect.
It's not urgent enough. We need to move faster. Right? Our community is faced with 314 people sleeping on our street tonight. That is a hurdle we need to overcome, and we need to do something about it. Now, the municipality is unfortunately limited, because like I said, we've not done this before. So our power and our financial resources are essentially limited to what sometimes feels like moving deck chairs around, right? In this case, we're establishing green zones. So at least so we can contain, we can make sure people are getting the resources they need, and we can better manage the scenario moving forward.
Both Hickey and Dobbelstein say that the city has expressed concerns about where these different zones will be, a detail that the city is still working out.
There'll be very few places that green zones will be permitted, because we need to make sure they're far enough away from schools and daycares and other properties that might run into conflict with people or with an encampment or a green zone.
The green zones are important and are doable. We've seen other municipalities do it. We've just got to make sure the sites are right, right? Look behind me, welcome to a red zone, right? This is not going to be full of tents, but there are places in this community that will be.
A housing researcher praises the strategy for recognizing the housing and homelessness needs of the city and creating a long-term plan.
We've failed folks for so long in terms of being able to meet their basic housing needs. And we no longer, as folks who are housed ourselves, have the right to turn around and say, not near me. So really, some of the rhetoric with the red, green, and yellow zones does cowtail a bit to the NIMBY, the not in my backyard ideology. But granted, it does speak as well to the scared citizen. People are scared. They're not used to seeing this, and they are worried about their safety and the safety of their family members.
According to St. John's Human Development Council, there are 344 chronically homeless people in the city, with 663 having experienced homelessness for at least one day in the past year.
Is it being dealt with well? No, absolutely not. Are they doing the best they can considering the collaboration and the resources that are and are not available? I would say so.
A beautiful evening in downtown St. John's. You're looking at a live view from the rooms there. You just missed the cruise ship that left here for a quick visit. And Ashley will be here with your long-range forecast. That's coming up.
details.
Well, you're looking at a video of the Perseid meteor shower. It happens every year, but this one is the most dazzling of them all, with an expected 100 meteors visible every hour at its peak, but only under the perfect conditions. And what that means is you want dark, clear skies.
And of course, the other challenge in Newfoundland is you need no clouds. Because I have been lured in by promises of amazing celestial shows only to have the darn clouds foil everything. So I guess that's the key question. Are we going to be able to see them?
There's a good chunk of the island where we should see some clear skies tonight. Let's take a look at what's going on as far as that goes. So where you're in the green, that means you're good to go. So this will be after midnight tonight. And I say after midnight because you want really dark skies. And it does look like that cold front is going to bring some of those showers to the northern peninsula, southeastern portions of Labrador, so it won't be so visible. But it does look like some pretty decent conditions, even up across parts of Labrador again, with the chance of some northern lights being visible again tonight. So the skies, dark night sky tonight is certainly going to be active. Now, as we head through the next couple of days, certainly into Tuesday evening and into Wednesday, we are looking at some rain. Again, much needed rain. No one's going to complain about it. It should fall mostly tomorrow evening and then into the first half of Wednesday morning. In behind that, we should see some clearing skies. Again, those winds will be onshore for the first part of the day, but they should switch back to more southerly flow through the evening hours on Wednesday. We may see a few showers in the mix as well. Late day up across Labrador. Overall, daytime highs are going to sit in the mid 20s for most of Labrador. Along the strait, your temperatures will sit in the teens, and then really a mix of temperatures across the island. That big drop in temperatures expected across the Avalon, and the reason for that is those winds, shift in those winds. Only about 16 degrees, really eastern Newfoundland looking at that drop in temperatures. Things will change, though, as we head into Thursday and certainly into Friday as well. More showers certainly possible up across Labrador on your Thursday evening. Most of the island actually looking at a pretty beautiful day on Thursday. Overall, daytime highs starting to rebound into the low 20s or upper teens for most of us up across Labrador. Again, hanging on to those mild temperatures anywhere from 23 to 26 degrees. So very different story from what we've been seeing, especially towards the coast of Labrador. Long range forecast after that really wet start to the week, things will dry out and actually looks pretty beautiful for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with temperatures between 19 to 23 degrees, overnight lows between 14 to 15 degrees. Now for central and western Newfoundland, you are looking at a similar forecast, looking pretty lovely as we head towards the weekend with plenty of sunshine. Labrador, you are looking at warm temperatures to end out the work week, 26 to 28 degrees, bit of a drop by Saturday with some showers moving through, and we'll see that in Lab West as well, with daytime highs around 27 degrees on Friday, and Saturday you are looking at a few showers and a temperature around 26 degrees, so definitely lots more summer weather. This photo looking a little bit fall, but it's a really lovely one. Peaceful evening in Notre Dame Park there. Thank you to Kit for that great shot. If you have any weather photos that you would like to share with us, you can do that by sending them to my Facebook page or email them to nophotos@cbc.ca.
Love that blue sky. You may have noticed Here and Now is back at our regular time this week following the ongoing coverage of the Paris Olympics. 2 weeks of competitions have ended and athletes already have their sights set on Los Angeles in 2028. The CBC's Lisa Shing has a look back at yesterday's closing ceremonies.
A fitting farewell to another historic Games. The fanfare, friends, family at this Olympics, largely absent from the last one in Tokyo, tightly guarded because of the pandemic. The Canadian team, joyful, led by flag bearers Summer McIntosh, 3-time gold medal swimmer, and Ethan Katzberg, Olympic champion hammer thrower.
This kind of feels like another medal, but even greater than that, because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and something that can never be taken away on any level.
It's really amazing to share the experience with other athletes and other people here at this event.
The show featured a powerful performance looking at the Olympic Games of the past and future, and from organizers, a note of gratitude.
You made us happy. You made us feel alive. The world needed these emotions so much. These feelings of hope, inspiration, and love will remain.
Some serious musical heft from both countries in the handoff. French indie rock band Phoenix performing its hits. The Americans showing off their stripes and stars. Who but Tom Cruise in his own Mission Impossible moment, transporting that flag across the ocean the only way we'd expect, getting Hollywood ready for its next big show. And a very California welcome from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Billie Eilish, and Snoop Dogg.
What's my name?
Just a taste of what's to come as the world looks ahead to Los Angeles 2028. Lisa Shing, CBC News, Toronto.
Something to look forward to. Did you get a chance to check out the ceremonies?
Yes, absolutely. I've watched pretty much all of the Olympics. I love it. Love sports.
Well, that's the great thing about working at CBC. We can have it on our desk, and it
It's
feels like
on.
work.
That's right. It's pretty great.
And of course, it'll be the Paralympics is the next thing for us to get excited to, because we've got Katarina Roxon's going to be there.
Yeah.
She's won medals before. Fingers crossed for her. So we'll be cheering her on.
Yeah, for sure. Good luck.
And that is it for us tonight. Thanks so much for watching.